Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Monrovia City Council recap for the meeting November 19th, 2024. My name is Julie Bank, and with me is, drumroll, Mr. Garrett Laporte.
Yep.
Thank you. You will see there's only two of us today, so we're going to have some lively discussion, and hopefully it will be great.
I think so.
Yep, I think so too.
All right.
So we're going to jump right into it. And actually, before we jump right into it, I want to remind everybody that this recap is to help you understand what's going on in the city. So if you don't want to watch a 3-hour and 22-minute meeting, you can actually watch these 30 or so minute recaps and learn everything that you need to know. So we're so happy that you're watching today. We also want to remind everybody that we are looking for other people to sit in these seats. We want 3 of us, not 2 of us. So if you out there have some time and would love to get more involved and be part of our recap team, we encourage you to go to the KGEM website and you can learn more about it.
You can go to our website. You can go to our email, and that is kgemtv@gmail.com. You can hit us up with an inquiry. We'll set you up with our producer, Chris Los, and he'll be happy to connect you and see what your availability looks like. As he always says, these meetings are long, and if going to a city council meeting, you don't have time. You don't have time to watch the whole thing when it's live. But, we do this thing where you can go on YouTube when we stream it here at KGEM. You can hit double speed, and you can watch and take your notes. And, it's such a small time commitment to come in here and just, give your take as a citizen.
Yep. So with that said, we're going to jump right into the meeting. So the meeting started at 7:31 p.m. And it was exciting because it was in honor of 2 new babies.
Yes.
I did not get to capture their names, but if you're like me and you don't have any babies in your life and you want to see babies, go look at their beautiful pictures. Yes. It was pretty amazing. The invocation was given by Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Tamala Kelly, and the Pledge of Allegiance was given by Council Member Larry Spicer. Jumping into PR1, as I always say, my favorite part of the month is because it is our Adopt a Pet segment. And with sorry, I was about to say Arizona.
I was like, with
Arizona Pasadena Humane Society, they brought pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is a 6-year-old, looked like a shepherd to me, and it is Adopt a Senior Pet Month. So if you adopt anybody over a certain age, there will be no charge for the adoptions, which is pretty cool. They also talked about December 13th, starting for that weekend, it's going to be $13 black cat adoptions.
Black cats.
Black cats are the best. I have a black and white cat, but black cats are the best.
Yeah, me too. We got, I think, I have a tuxedo.
Yeah,
tuxedo cat.
Right. And then the end of December, there's going to be the Roses and Wet Noses promotion because they will be having a float in the Rose Parade, which is really exciting. And right now, there's also holiday photos at the shelter. So if you want to get your pet's picture taken with Santa, go to shelter. Lots going on, but please consider adopting pumpkin pie.
Please.
PR2 was an overview of the Volunteer Center's Make a Difference Day. Macy from the Volunteer Center of San Gabriel Valley, which their office is located right in the community center.
Yes.
You can go check it out. And not only, by the way, do they have Make a Difference Day once a year, but they have volunteer opportunities for you at any time during the year. So you can just pop on in. They spoke about this being the 34th annual Make a Difference Day. There were 15 projects that happened. 386 people came out.
Wow.
I came out with my fellow Rotarians, and we planted stuff in Rotary Park, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted everybody to know that Saturday, October 25th of 2025 is going to be the next Make a Difference Day. You don't want to wait until next year. Mayor Shevlin said, you don't want to wait until next year to volunteer. However, come on out and volunteer at any time.
Yep.
Check out the Volunteer Center. Proclamation 3 was recognition of Community Response Team, CERT, and the police and fire explorers. There were a ton of people in the audience, which was really fun to see. And they brought everybody up and took pictures and really just celebrated the work that all 3 of those groups do in our community. They really are. And all 3 of those groups are always looking for volunteer support as well. So you can be part of one of those groups just by going to the city website and learning more. So about 22 minutes in, they had PR4. PR4 was the recognition of retired police chief Alan San Victorious. It was a very sad, kind of bittersweet moment where everybody came out and really honored the service and the work that he did. You can go look at it. Dylan told a touching story, I thought, a really cool story about when he said that we want to show good cops and good police officers.
I say that a lot as someone that as a teacher of social science and a community member of a younger generation. There's definitely a high critical eye on law enforcement, and I think that to be fair to myself, there's that same lens on teachers, and I think both lenses of criticism are absolutely fair. I think you should absolutely be sitting there going, hey, are you guys doing the best of your ability? And I can say Monrovia Police, I have the privilege of saying that Monrovia Police feels a lot different, and I've been to other cities, and our people in blue, they definitely give off a much more, welcoming, and I've talked with Chief Allen many times, and he's a very good dude.
Well, we will miss you a ton. Thank you for your service and everything that you've done for our community.
Yes.
And they also introduced our new police chief, which is Heath Harvey, and he's been with the department for a while as well, and I think everybody out there is going to like him just as much. So that was a long, about 20-25 minute love fest of our chief, and I think well deserved.
Yeah, necessary ceremony.
Yep, absolutely.
Necessary ceremony.
So 47 and 48 minutes later they talked about that there was no student government report this time, but in lieu of a student government report, they took the time to wish Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly a happy birthday. There was a lot of singing. If you happen to want to listen to that singing, you can go watch it. But either way, Dr. Kelly, congratulations on your birthday. We were glad that we could see that. Happy birthday. 49 minutes in, they went to the consent calendar. CC 1 through CC 18. CC 7, Mayor Shevlin abstained because of a conflict. But ultimately, Councilmember Spicer moved to accept the consent calendar. And Councilmember Belden seconded it, and all were in favor other than the abstention. Want to remind everybody that the consent calendar and the agenda and all of the documentation of the things that we're talking about, you can find on the city's website.
I'm holding in my hands
there it is.
The physical version. Obviously, there are no links for me to click, but when you go, like Julie's saying, online to see all this, all these CC, because it all gets approved. It's all part of the motions of this, of this council to, hey, it's scheduled to get voted on. And you're like, what was that? I didn't know what that was. Go on there, and they've released the agenda ahead of time, and you can click, and they put every PDF of every item that's going to be on the agenda, so you can read it, so you can know exactly what's going on.
So if you're the type of person that likes to read instead of listening, or that is your learning style, please pull that on down. It's very easy to find it. 50 minutes in, they went to public comment, and we had a couple of members of the public come and talk, starting with Amber Martin. Amber was very emotional because it sounded like she actually had an urn in her hand.
Oh,
and
that's what that was.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
And it sounded like both Councilmember Spicer and our city manager helped her bring, I think it was her father, back to Monrovia from the Philippines. So she was just so thankful for their support, and it just shows how caring our community is to help somebody even down to that micro level. Jumped to Glenda. Glenda came up and was talking a bit about some challenges that they were having with the unhoused population in Colorado Commons, and was asking for support, and also came with some solutions. So it's always good if you have a problem to come with some solutions as well. So she talked about having fobs or some electronic documentation, but was also recognizing that it's a bigger issue and was really just looking for more help and support.
Right.
We jumped to Rosemary. And Rosemary spoke about the new In and Out project and had some concerns that the project was going to impact the environment in a negative way, and that we were also removing trees that shouldn't be removed. So she was asking for a CEQA, which is an environmental study or an analysis, be done before the project moves forward. She believes that that wasn't done, and she believes that it is supposed to be done. Later on in the agenda, they did talk about the fact that the city believes it is not needed and that they've done research on that, but we'll wait for that.
Sure.
She was specifically concerned about 17 trees that are going to be removed.
Right, from what used to be Black Angus. Right. And then there's some trees there that they're going to take out.
Yeah, and she was also concerned about traffic in that area.
I'm concerned about traffic in that area.
Well, later on, they did talk about the fact that they had a whole traffic study done by the city, and that they're going to try to put the traffic inside the shopping center. It's not going to be on the street, and that it is manageable, and it sounded like they had a lot of details, so more to come on that.
Yeah.
We also had Carmen Martinez come, and Carmen was concerned about our local businesses and wanted to make sure that the city was doing everything that they can to keep our small businesses in Monrovia. She also promoted the recap. She's part of our recap team.
She is.
And promoted the recap and encouraged other people to move on. Mm-hmm. So 1 hour in, we went to PH1, which was a historic landmark and Mills Act approval. This was for 231 North Ivy. And the good news is Councilmember Spicer motioned, Councilmember Jimenez second, and all were in favor. So congratulations to Mr. and Mrs., I think I'm pronouncing it right, Tungate, for their home now being on the Historic Landmark Registry.
Nice.
Which is pretty neat. And there was pictures and everything to see. I always loved looking at the pictures. 1 hour, 13 seconds in, we went to city manager and staff reports.
Yes.
Starting with RCM1, and that was where Dylan was responding to Rosemary's concerns about In and Out project. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to, he actually came out very strongly and said that her information was inaccurate. That was the term he used. And he said that it is, that some of the trees she's talking about are not healthy, not indigenous, and are privately owned, which has things that they can do with them.
Right.
And that the city takes a position that they are trying to encourage people, not always mandate people, but it is all based on the law, and that the city did perform this traffic study, and he talked about the inside of the traffic on the inside.
I've seen a few, just a quick tangent because we've been blowing through this, on that, I've actually seen another In and Out. Just like this, what this is going to be, it's I don't know if you've been out to like the Laverne area. Yeah. There's a Stater Brothers that has an In and Out that's like within that, and it's like, not attached to the strip, but it's that own little building. It works okay. I'm still a little hesitant just based on the way Mayflower is set up, because it is going to be closer to the Mayflower side of like where Kohl's is, and I know that like there's already issue with like people trying to go to like McDonald's, because they have like the protected, like people try to basically break the law. They basically try to go out this way and that way, and I'm like, okay, more people going to In and Out, because I think this study is usually going to refer to people that are like, if we simulate people all being good drivers and following the law and not jumping the double yellow. But I'm like, okay, what about all the people that have gotten their food or are going to fight through their food?
I encourage you to ask the city to look at the plan that they did, or not the plan, the study. And I think all of the plans are public record. So if anybody is really particularly concerned about it, you can go and see what the plans are. But Dylan eloquently talked about it. And again, that was 1 hour, and I think I said 13 seconds before, but I meant 13 minutes in.
One hour, 13 minutes into
Yeah. So, and 1 hour, 25 minutes in, we went to council persons' reports.
Right.
Starting with Councilmember Spicer. He generously gave or shared that Grace Napolitano's office is giving a $250 grant in memory of Gloria Crutchington to empower the Monrovia Parks Wilderness Recreation Foundation. And as a board member of Empower, I want to say thank you so much to Ms. Napolitano for her generous grant. This money is going to go to help our parks and recreation in the community, and that is pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
And in honor of Gloria, she was so instrumental in bringing our parks, and for Empower's even existence, couldn't be in honor of a better person.
Yeah.
Councilmember Spicer also talked about the upcoming holiday home decoration applications ban line.
Applications for the contest are they out already?
Yeah, they're out. They
Okay.
end December 9th, and the judging is December 12th.
It's usually that second week of December.
Oh, it's December 12th because I am one of the judges.
Oh, okay.
And we're all excited to come out. We go out in this like big bus and we get to drive around to get to see all of them. And I am very excited to come to your home if you apply. And we do love it when people give us cookies, and we do love it when Santa's there to greet us. Like every community is different.
So you're saying you can be bribed.
I'm not saying that, but anyway. All right. On Thursday, December 5th, he talked about the holiday parade and says everybody should come out to the holiday parade. Mm-hmm. He also talked about going to the new Rotary Park playground in Rotary Park, which is pretty amazing. And you should go, even if you're not a kid, go and check it out because it's a pretty cool park. He talked about visiting with the seniors, and that there was a presentation from the county assessor's office. And he also spoke about the League of California Cities Conference. It appears that they all went to that conference.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about it in any of the other, even though they've reported on it, and they each talked about which presentation was most meaningful to them. So you can look at that. Councilmember Belden talked about hanging out in Canyon Park recently and said that it's looking great, and crossing our fingers, it's going to open soon. Mm-hmm. He also talked about Empower again, that we had an event where it was a thank you to our donor event, and they have an annual award called the Golden Acorn. And the Golden Acorn this year, drum roll, went to the entire trail crew at Canyon Park, which was pretty amazing. They're an amazing group of people who are working hard to make sure our trails are maintained, and when you open it, you'll see all that great work. When we open Canyon Park, you will see all that great work. Mm-hmm. He also went to Food Ed's event, and he also talked about an event that's upcoming on Saturday with Grow Monrovia. Councilmember Jimenez spoke about Art in Public Places ornament. You can purchase an ornament. There's something like only 200 of them available, so you can get this collector's item ornament, and they do a different ornament every year.
Yeah.
So that you can get them every year. I encourage you to look at their website for that. They showed pictures of it. It was pretty cool. And he also talked about the Halloween Spooktacular that happened a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like it was so long ago, but it was a really great event. And I know KGEM has a great video, right, that shows the festivities of the goblins and the ghouls.
Yes. We, if you go to our YouTube channel, if you go to KGEM TV YouTube's channel, we try to very timely get out a very special recap of these city events. They take a bit of time, so I think it came out like a week or so ago, and it's like, we're already but it's great. Every video, every recap that we do is so much better with like animation and just cinematic direction. They're well worth the wait, and I think they really capture the spirit of our community really well.
Well, great segue, because we then went to Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly's report, and the first thing she said is everybody should watch KGEM programs. So it was good segue. She also said that downtown Monrovia is going to be transformed for the holidays.
Yes.
She said Christmas, but I'm going to choose to say the holidays because it's celebrating everybody.
That's true. It's not just Christmas.
And that you should come on down and see what's happening in downtown Monrovia for holiday programming. Well, she also talked about November 30th being Shop Small Business in Monrovia Day. So we encourage everybody to shop downtown and anywhere in Monrovia. It doesn't have to just be Myrtle. It could be anywhere in Monrovia. She also said that she and Dylan went to downtown LA and had a conversation with somebody about preparing for the 2028 Olympics, because
Right.
they want to make sure that we can are not only are prepared for it, but that any type of income that's coming in for it, that we are part of the conversation there. So that was interesting. And then she also encouraged people to go to the library to learn more about adult literacy programs.
Yes, and the library is a point of conversation that will come again.
Yes,
soon,
for sure.
very soon.
And then finally, we had Mayor Becky Sheldon, who, did I say Sheldon, like Blake Sheldon? I think I just...
Yes. I was like, did I hear that too?
No,
But
I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, Becky. Anyway, Mayor Becky, she talked about going to the Veterans Day celebration that happened downtown, which I have friends who went to that and said it was beautiful.
Good.
She also said that the library and the Veterans Resource Center, if you didn't know, our library has a Veterans Resource Center.
does.
So if you're a veteran in need, you can go there. She said they were honored at that celebration, which is great. She went to the Change Makers event at the theater downtown and encourages everybody to look up Change Makers. It's a wonderful organization. We had a MAP graduation, which is a Monrovia area partnership, and they were both the youth program and the adult program had their graduation. So we have a whole bunch of new MAP leaders. December 8th coming up, there is a toy drive with the Monrovia Guild. She also highlighted a business that is coming to town, and unfortunately I did not catch the name, but it was a Mexican restaurant, and the good news, it's going to be at 312 West Huntington, and it's going to be in the transit center. So they've been waiting a long time to try to get a tenant in that transit center, and there will be a Mexican restaurant coming there. So that's pretty exciting. And then she also mentioned that Measure A, which we had talked about in great length in the past meetings, did pass in this past election.
Yes.
And that she is on the committee that helps provide oversight to that. So she will keep us informed as Monrovians. And you could see this at going to the meetings or learning about it in the recaps that we're having now. So we are now about 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 31 seconds in. And we went to AR1, which were revisions to Go Monrovia and to the Monrovia Transit Program.
Right.
Which are two different things, but they're all combined into one program where we are helping people maneuver around Monrovia. Alex Tachiki went through a whole background of the program and what we pay for the program and how the program currently works. So if you're interested in all the details, you should go watch that particular section. It was very thorough and it was very comprehensive. But what he did say is that's not sustainable. It's not. We cannot sustain the amount of money that we are spending on these programs. So they've been talking about this for quite a few board meetings, and they got to the point where the city staff brought forward a modified option, and that option was that they would modify hours. Sunday through Thursday, it would be 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, it would be 7 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Okay.
And that it would continue the way it is on holidays. And they also proposed a new funding stream. So right now, it is the customer pays $3 and the city pays everything else.
Yes.
So if it's $18.50, you're only paying $3 and the city is paying everything else.
Right.
They are suggesting that it's flip, so that the city will pay a fixed $3 to supplement it, and that the customer pays everything else.
So that price then varies. Like, let's say, because for me, and not someone that's using like transit, because like I can't drive or something, or like I need to. I'm a recipient of the benefits of the ADA. I'm not, but I'm someone that's just like, okay, I took the train today. I'm gonna take the lift into KGM, right? Like as you're saying before, I would pay $3,
Correct.
and then the city covers the rest of the cost.
Right. They're now looking to
Right.
shift that.
Right.
Now, as a result, though, that there was some concern and there was a lot of dialogue amongst the city council members about how that was going to impact people. So there was a lot of concern specifically about how that was going to impact our senior population
Yes.
and how that was going to impact our disabled population. They did talk a lot about the difference between taking Lyft and the Monrovia Transit,
Which are different
and that,
services,
Yes,
yeah.
but that Monrovia Transit is actually a lot more expensive than doing Lyft. But there is some legality that the city has to offer certain services. Well, either way, they were not in agreement at this point to actually make a motion and pass this suggestion. They went back they asked the staff to go back and do a little more research and come back with more documentation on this, because they were particularly interested or concerned about how that was going to impact those populations,
Yes.
seniors and disabled populations, and that it might prevent people from using it or even leaving their home. So more to come on that.
Yeah.
I think that the conversation that they had was extremely thoughtful
Yes.
and caring, and I appreciate that they want more information. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to make decisions that are going to impact people when monetary decisions are involved, but they weren't ready to make that yet. So that was pretty cool.
We were always heading here. We always were. And
Yeah.
it's good to, like you said, start these conversations and have the humility to be like, you know what?
We're not ready.
We need to go back to the lab.
Yeah.
We're going to kick this back and then we're going to talk about it
yeah.
again. I love that.
The only issue, though, is there is a contract that they have to sign, and they're going to be out of contract if they don't make a decision.
deadline.
soon. So there is a deadline, but
Cool.
that's okay. They're going to make the right decision based on all the factors and come back at another time and talk about it. So if you're interested in this, please go online and learn more. This was a very hefty, long, meaty conversation, and you could just go to that. I forgot what I said
Yeah,
at
what
the
was
time
the
it was. It
timestamp?
was at 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 31
I was going to say
seconds.
it was like right before 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they went to, at 2 hours and 29 minutes in, they went to AR2, which was a conversation about Measure K.
Yes.
And as a reminder, Measure K was voted on, and it was additional funding that went to the city. And this conversation was a conversation about types of things that it could be used for. It did create a Measure K committee, which is a group of citizens who have oversight. They also talked about a while back doing a survey of the public, and that they wanted everybody to know that 58% of the suggestions were implemented through city funds versus Measure K funds. So that's good, that
Right.
58% of the things the public wanted has already been done.
Right.
But they still have a lot more to do, and that's why they're talking about Measure K. They talked about the process a little bit, and they said the process goes as follows. Council determines, staff comes up with ideas.
Yeah.
Council then determines approval for those ideas, and that approval is to have it then go to the committee
Right.
for review. And then once the committee reviews, it then goes back to the council to have final approval. So this meeting was about the council approving it to go to the committee
It's-
for review.
right.
It's a little procedural process thing.
Yeah, and that's because, from my understanding, Measure K, for those that don't know, who might just think, oh, it's a big pile of money, it's a bond, correct?
Right. It's money that is coming in through taxes that basically it can only go to certain funds too.
Right.
So it's not like you can just have it go to anything.
Right.
It has to go to what's written and what's clear. So the projects have to be very clear.
Which is why doing that survey, I'm just trying to shout out their really good work, because
Yeah.
their survey of, hey, what do you guys want to do with this money? Oh, well, I want this. Well, okay, this and that of what you've just said
Is not part of Measure A.
is
fine.
not part of Measure
But it
K.
looks like the city is
But yeah,
doing them anyway.
we can eat that cost over here and not here. Yeah, and that's part of that's why this stuff can take a
Yep.
lengthy time.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So here's a list of some of the things that they put on the screen about what they would like to have the committee look at
Yes.
for Measure K. Peck and Myrtle Road resurfacing, Satori Tanishi Park construction, senior program enhancements, renovation of the community center, renovation of the library, Mountain Avenue signal and road resurfacing, and affordable housing acquisitions.
Yes.
So that was what the list is. Again, if you look 2 hours, 29 minutes in, they have everything broken down. Each of these things have their own slide. They're broken out by how much money they cost, how much money they want to allocate, what this thing looks like in more detail. So I would totally recommend that you look at that. Brenda Trainer, who was one of the committee members, came up and did talk about needing a meeting. I think there was a little concern that they weren't meeting with the committee that was supposed to be met with. So she's encouraging them to follow the path that you outlined and make sure you meet with the committee.
It's funny, Jason Willoughby kind of said the same thing because he's on that committee for the Measure MM, and it's that same process of money gets sent and then the committee decides.
Well, MM is the school district, and this is, PA is, but it's the same process.
It's that same process, just Measure MM is for the schools and Measure K is city allocated.
Right. Yeah. Rosemary, who we heard from earlier, came back up and she wants Measure K to be spent more on infrastructure, specifically tree canopies and shade. And ultimately, they did motion to send this list and this presentation. Councilmember Spicer motioned, Councilmember Jimenez seconded the motion, and the committee agreed to send it to the next step, which is the committee.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the council agreed to send it to the committee.
The committee's going to look over that.
So we'll have more to come. Again, if Measure K is something that really interests you, that's where we want you to go back and look at that section in more detail. And at that point, it was 10:50 p.m. They were kind of tired, and the meeting was adjourned again at 10:50 p.m. It was a pretty long meeting.
Yes.
It was pretty meaty of a meeting, but I think it was a really good meeting, showing how, I'm going to take my glasses off because it's been really difficult to see.
I don't have the, the flaring on mine as well,
But that's all, folks, with the council update. I think it was a good meeting for everybody to learn more. We are so thankful to everybody watching for you taking the time to be the best citizen you can be and be the most informed that you can be. And we do hope that you consider joining our little small but mighty team. Thank you, Garrett. It's always fun to be with you.
You too.
Appreciate it, and have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.